Lowkey Deep. Real talk, real artist.
The first question I have is really dear to me because I was so excited when I saw it on Instagram because you posted a video of you playing the wedding march, and everybody's wondering who's gonna be married on the night.
It's a secret. I will say only that.
Just a couple days of patience.
Yeah, it's gonna be a huge event. I'll say that.
But are there going to be rings involved or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
24 hours and you'll know everything about it.
Okay, I'm gonna have to be patient. 84, yeah, it's 2 days.
44. 48. Okay, sorry.
You understand. You know.
Sorry.
We're just gonna wait.
Yeah.
From an outside perspective, you guys got so huge internationally in such a short amount of time. How did you guys get used to that kind of fame?
You just don't, I guess. We're just living it at the same way we were living before all of it, but we have just many more opportunities and stuff, and of course the pressure is more, but we try to stick to like the attitude that we always had, and we try to deal with things in the same way that we always dealt with it, because we feel like we found like our balance, and we don't want like the outside to change our balance.
Yeah. How did you go about finding that balance?
I think it just took years, and then you get settled over time, and you get to understand yourself better and each other being four, and our bond grows tighter in the years and everything, so it just happened naturally.
Yeah. Did you have to find like a new way of how to present yourself, or was that also kind of gradual, natural?
Yeah, I'd say it was natural.
Yeah. But does it still hit you from time to time? Like, or do you forget about it and then something awkward happens and you're like...
Kinda, yeah. Especially, let's say, when we're like, I don't know, when we have a couple days off and then we get back home and with our usual friends and everything, and then you go on tour and see thousands of people, and it's crazy, you know? So it's very cool to have also these big differences, going from something very chill to then crazy tour life, and you get to realize every time and appreciate what you have.
Yeah, but
it makes you learn a lot of things.
What was the last new thing for you?
I don't know, like probably the value of time.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is very important.
Yeah.
Like in everything, and also that everybody is going through something, and I think like having like to do like with a lot of people, it just increases you inside you, the respect and the attention you can pay with the others, and with other opinions and options and opportunities, and it's very important like to always be grounded. And I think like this kind of lifestyle can reach like high levels, and high levels are not, and high expectations are not like always easy to face. But I think with the right time and with the right reflection, and if you think about it like in a healthy way, then it's going to be healthy as well.
Yeah, I think that the value of your time is very important. For example, I remember when I started to just like play guitar and study guitar in general, and when I was like, I don't know, 15 years old or stuff like that, my teacher like told me like, now you have the time for study a lot, you know, so you have to study your instrument, because after you probably you don't have too many time for study your instrument for the work or stuff like that in general. And this is so true. I mean, sometimes we didn't, you know, like we didn't like, I don't know how to explain, like that we didn't realize that it's important the time that we have, and we have to spend very
wisely.
Wisely.
Because you run so fast that like you don't really recognize when you're leaving something behind, but maybe like after a couple of months you're like, okay, I'm not practicing since 2 months, this is not okay, or I'm not writing any songs since 3 months, and this is not okay. So like you phase, and then you're like, okay, maybe we have to cancel these 2 things because I need this time, because I gotta resettle because sometimes you get like too much involved in all this promo and touring and all this stuff, and you kind of forget where everything comes from, which is the studio sessions. Like without writing music, you cannot go on tour or do any interviews. So you always gotta keep the balance, and sometimes it's very hard because, as I said, like the whole machine runs very, very fast.
Yeah. So did you have, it sounds like you had one experience that kind of sparked that off, that mindset of, oh no guys, I think we have to step down and be more patient.
Yeah,
was there
when-
something,
when we
was there a
were-
moment like that?
Yeah, when we were writing the album, we had 3 months to write it, but of course we didn't finish the whole thing in 3 months. So like after that, we saw the schedule and we were like, okay, we don't have time to finish the songs, so we have to reschedule everything. And from now on, we don't want to do the same mistakes again for 2 reasons mainly. First of all, it's also for the others, the people we work with, because it's bad to reschedule things, and maybe you have an interview, and maybe like the interview we are interviewed by like very young guys and as you, so sometimes we also feel guilty because you think, okay, maybe they prepared for months and then you have to reschedule it, and this is not good, and it was our fault because we got too much involved. But now it just got us more conscious, and now we don't let these things happen again, and we are more into the schedule organization. And when we see that like there's too much time without having any days off, which are not off for us, but this studio or whatever, even thinking about things like videos or stuff like that, we are like, okay, no, we need this to cut this, we need to cut that, so we don't like organize things that we have to cancel.
Yeah.
'Cause it's pretty bad.
It sounds very considerate of you though.
I mean, it's sometimes you also forget that it's not just you working, but also all the other, because you're like, okay, I'm in promo, so I'm promoting my music and I'm doing an interview. It's not easy as that. You're promoting your music. The interviews, the person who interview you is trying to make career, because if he does a great interview, he's gonna be called back and interview great artists. It's I think that everyone is trying to get something from all of it and giving everyone a fair chance. It's the bare minimum.
How do you spend your off days then? How do you, like, when you experience that high of standing on stage, having thousands of people screaming your names, chanting your songs? How do you calm down then on off days? What do you do?
I would say just spend some cool time with our friends, basically, or stuff like that. I say with our parents, of course. But I think that it's also very important to stay like in your safe place. You know what I mean? I mean, because we live in the same city in Rome, and we also, I don't know, hang out at the same place or stuff like that. So I think that it's very important to have like a good environment outside of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's good because we're lucky because we're surrounded by very nice people and all our like friends we've had for years. So every time we get back home, it's like our safe zone, and it really makes you like disconnect from all the work and all of that. So it's good.
Yeah. It very much, from watching your vlogs on YouTube, it very much looks like you're living the absolute rock star lifestyle. Like you're skateboarding backstage on venues, jamming in between fans, meeting fans on the street, being recognized. Is that kind of experience right now, that level of fame, or your lifestyle right now?
It's just good editing.
Cutting out all the secret parts.
It's so fake.
Well, then forget my question. No, but is your life right now how you imagined it to be like when you were?
More or less.
I think like especially on tour, you really feel like you're living a dream, you know, because you get to experience so many surreal things and meet crazy people and all of it in every part of the world. And it's like movies, you know, when you like dream of it as a kid and then it's actually how it is. So
For you guys as well?
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
What do you think, what advantage do you have from you guys being a band and having each other in comparison to all of you being solo artists?
Free drinks.
Free drinks?
Only
Solo
bands
artists,
get
no free drinks?
Solo artists, we couldn't make it. So no free drinks.
No free drinks.
For solo artists.
Which for me is not an advantage because I don't drink. So free drinks for my friends. No, I think that what we have the huge advantage that we are four and not just one. So our voice is louder, even for bad things and good things. So like when we had to kind of discuss with our, especially some years ago, when we had to discuss with our label for the kind of music we wanted to do and the kind of image we wanted to have, I think that if we were all separate, it would have been like very, very hard. Like if you're an 18 years old guy to face a whole label, but if you're four and you're very convinced, you're like, okay, even if I
punch them in the
face. but you think that even if they drop me, I still have my band. I have something that I can rely on. I have a basement. I have a foundation behind me and under my feet. So you always have this kind of shield from everything. Either like on the other hand, if you're alone, I think you're more vulnerable and it's easier to kind of manipulate you. And that's nothing special. I'm not saying anything special, because when you hear artists that complain about their labels, or they say, oh, they forced me to do this or that, it's like 90% of the times solo artists, because with a band you cannot do it, because maybe you take one, but the other 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is, are gonna kind of stand against it. Okay, you got him, but we're 5 more, we're 4 more, so it's more work, and at the end they give up and you win.
You're not gonna have us.
Yeah, you're not gonna have all of us. Maybe you get one.
Yeah. Maybe one and the other 3 are like, idiot, what?
No, I completely agree. I think also that the other cool part is that sometimes one of us have like a different point of view that is very important, because maybe when you have to decide the right decision, you know what I mean? Maybe someone is, okay, I want to take this decision, and another one say like, no, this is not good for us, you know what I mean? So it's also important to have a different point of view into a team.
Opinions of people who you can really trust.
Yeah, and you know each other for a long time. And also, if you're a solo artist, I mean, you have bad days where you're like a little more vulnerable, or a little more like, yeah, okay, I'll do whatever you say, but you guys are the 4 of you, and
Absolutely.
We're intimidating.
yeah, you look intimidating. That's good. Well, congrats on your upcoming album. Rush is going to be released on Friday. When did you start working on the project?
Wow.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago?
If you take
some
the songs,
songs, yeah.
you take the songs, like the time span between the songs is like 2018, 2020 to, so
Yeah.
it's weird. It's like 4 years, but of course, like the main process has been.
Main process was like 1
6
year
months.
ago.
Yeah.
No, it was 1
like
year
the
ago.
whole last year.
Yeah, but we have some songs that are older and stuff.
But when you were writing the older songs, you didn't have in mind that they're going to be on
No,
the
no.
next album, right?
No, when we started like knowing that it was for the record was like 1 year ago.
Yeah. How was the like starting out doing it? How was the?
That was, I think, the
first
hardest part, of course, because like, as we said, like being 4, there's so many advantages, but on the same hand, sometimes it's hard when you don't all have the same goal or the same idea about something. So also in the music, we have very different tastes and influences. So at first, we all wanted to do very different things. So it took like a couple months to settle down and compromise and understand what we wanted to do. But then it ended up being even more interesting, because we really had to trust each other and push our like boundaries and limits. So we ended up like doing a record where there's a lot of songs that are very different from what we would have done normally, and maybe weren't in our comfort zone, but then we ended up all loving them and being very extremely proud of the results. And it also, I think, made us grow even tighter, because we learned to appreciate each other's differences instead of making it a point of where we argued about it, trying to change each other. We were like, okay, you like something different that I don't like, okay, I trust you, like show me how to do it, and let's embrace it all together. So I think it was very constructive in the end, the whole process.
How do you get consensus? How do you agree on something when you're like,
we
no,
try
I
to
don't like
make
that.
it quite democratic. So we try to, like, everyone says their own opinion. We listen to each other, and then we vote for it. Or if someone is really like unhappy with something or stuff, we try to avoid that. So to listen to everyone.
Yeah, but sometimes it's very easy. Like there's some songs that you, even if you don't like it, you cannot deny it, that it's a good song. So sometimes you have to take a step back and try not to think with your own taste, but try to see the thing from outside as a label guy, and try to see, okay, even if it's like not my cup of tea, this is a great song and it's undeniable, and you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like most of the hits has this story behind, like the artist didn't want to do it, and then okay, but it's a hit, so and then they get to play it like for 20 years.
Do you have a concept for the album, or was it just like the X songs you like the most?
Yeah, I think we never actually ever wrote like any record or a song with a pre-made concept. Every time we just write music just in a very free way, and then when we analyze it, we find that there is a connection around all of them.
So it builds itself.
So I think in this record, of course, it's like it talks a lot about all the experiences we've had through the years, so both the good parts, but also the bad parts, and the stress and the pressure, but also the amusement and the crazy experiences you have. So I think it's a mixture of all these past years, of course.
Yeah. About languages, because I speak several languages, but I have a different connection to every language that I speak. It's a kind of different emotional connection. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
If I talk in English, I feel like I'm more girly. If I talk in German, I'm a little more cool and something like that.
Sure.
And I was wondering if you felt the same way about you singing in English and then in Italian. Do the songs feel different?
Yeah, for sure. I think that it's music. It's not translatable. Like if you write a song in English, it has to stay in English, because when you turn it, like especially in Italian, because I only know Italian, when you turn it in Italian, maybe the same thing with the same meaning gets a completely different like feeling or vibe, and maybe something that in English it's super cool, in Italian gets very, very cringe. So so I think
it's mostly that way around, right? Like your mother language or your the language, and
because
you
in
like,
your
no,
mother
you can't say
language
that.
you recognize what's cringe and what's not. In your second language you're like, oh, it's my second language, who gives a fuck? So
I'm free to be cringe.
that's it. That's why I say that for me it's easier to write in English, because it's not like I don't care, but I don't judge
that much.
it's like it sounds good, it has a good meaning, it's okay. In Italian it sounds good, it has a good meaning, but do I really want to say it? No, I don't want to, and I end up like fucking everything, erasing everything, and it's harder for me to write songs in Italian.
Yeah, it's also like culture. It depends a lot on the culture, like to me.
Yeah. So would you also say your English songs are the more goofy ones and the more embarrassing ones?
Yeah, for sure. I think
I can say
most
shit.
Stupid lyrics in
like
English.
Blah blah blah. I would never write it in Italian.
In Italian, yeah, of course. Yeah.
It would sound like way more aggressive.
Yeah.
No ironic at all.
But then the Italian songs are the more emotional songs then?
I think are the more readable. Where you get the emotion expressed more clearly, because it's my own language, so I exactly know how to say how to express what I'm feeling, and I don't need like to use any metaphor or to make it complex in any way. I just say what I think, and I think that the rage comes out in Italian most of the times, because when I get angry I swear in Italian.
You can also curse better in Italian, I imagine.
We're way more creative. Guys, I'm sorry, but there's no match.
What song on the upcoming album are you most excited about?
For me, Time Zone and If Not For You.
For me, okay, you said two, so I'm gonna say two as well. Cool Kids and blah blah blah.
I would say blah 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 and cool. You said cool.
You
kids.
stole mine.
You stole
The
mine.
same lyrics. Okay.
It's not.
It's a competition. It's my song.
But why are you so excited about it?
What?
Why are you so excited about it though? Because
Yeah, for
set.
me it's because it's the most like crazy and punk and aggressive ones,
Yeah.
which is what I prefer.
yeah.
So I love to play live when it's like heavier songs, and I find the lyrics very funny and hilarious.
Yeah, so I can say now Cool Kids, but the second one will be Il Dono della Vita, which is an Italian song inside the album. We only have 3 Italian songs inside it.
Yeah.
And I just like it because, like Cool Kids, because it's the punkish. It's the most punkish song we ever done together. And also, like Il Dono della Vita is something just different because it's a ballad. We already done many ballads in Italian, but I think Il Dono della Vita is just something different as well.
Okay.
It's just like slower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thomas.
Yeah, I would say Mark Chapman, that is other Italian song, and Don't Wanna Sleep, of course, and also Cool Kids, because I love Cool Kids.
What do you love about Cool Kids?
That is, first of all, yeah, exactly. First, I will say that maybe because we wrote that song immediately after the Eurovision Song Contest, so we was like in a very like spontaneous way to write the song, and I love that part, and also that it's really like freedom song. I don't know to explain. It's like something that you can hear and you can say, okay, this is cool because it's real. Of course, the other songs are also real of the record, but I don't know. It's a perfect picture of that moment after the Eurovision Song Contest. I will say that, and also love the fact that it's very aggressive and sounds like the live show into the record. And I love that when you have not filtered between the studio record and the live record.
Okay, so it sounds also like you're most excited to play the songs on stage, like
Yeah.
Every time we're in studio and write anything, we only think about how it's gonna be live, because that's like the main moment for us.
Yeah. So, because that was my last question, what are you excited about coming up in the next weeks for you guys?
Playing.
A lot of
playing.
Like releasing the album and playing it.
Yeah.
We waited for years, so now.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And also the Grammy. I mean,
Maybe a little Grammy wouldn't
Whatever.
hurt. It wouldn't hurt.
whatever.
Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Måneskin.
you so
Thank you
much.
for having me.
Lowkey Deep. Golden Views with Cassandra.